Anytime you're starting a new season, regardless of the sport, I think one of the most important things that you can do as a coach is hold a player-parent meeting. I think it's real important to have at least one parent there and have all the players there so everyone's hearing the same message. I think it's a great time to start establishing expectations, introduce your staff, and start building those relationships. You know, there always seems to be a negative narrative between coaches and parents in youth sports, and it doesn't really have to be that way. There just needs to be respect for both parties and everyone involved. Some key points that you'll want to hit is maybe talk about the schedule, practice schedule, start and end times. And coaches, if I was going to recommend one thing to you, whatever time that you say practice is going to end at that time, because that's just being respectful to everyone's time. And again, keeping those relationships positive with the parents, because if they're expecting practice to end at 5:30, they might need to go pick up the little brother, little sister at their practice. So I think that's always been real important to me. You want to talk about fees, fundraising, transportation, important dates throughout the season, volunteering tasks, like maybe somebody keeping score, maybe you might need volunteers to work on the field or run tournaments, work the gates, social media, and appropriate conduct for both parents and players, playing time, which is one of the biggest issues in youth sports, weather, and how what that communication is going to look like on game days. Physical boundaries, as far as, is it okay to watch practice? Is it okay to be in the dugout? And that might look a little bit different for younger teams like T-ball, where it might be appropriate to have parents in the dugout or on the field. And on that note, I always try to ask for the parents' support and really help setting that tone with appropriate conduct, as far as the umpires and around the field language, all those type things. But the two things I really try to hammer is, one, player responsibility. Everything is the player's responsibility, starting with the communication. If they're going to be late to practice, they need to let the coach know. And this goes for as young as possible, because what you're really trying to do is set up those young people so when they have their first job, they're going to be accustomed to having that responsibility of letting their supervisor know they're going to be late or they're going to miss, etc. And even fundraising. If a player needs to raise so much money or whatnot, that's not the parents' responsibility, it's the players. And another thing I really try to hammer is the whole concept, and I'm going to post a visual down there for you in the description: program, team, self. And what I mean by that is putting the program first and ensuring that all decisions are made for the benefit of the program. And also how nobody is above the program. If somebody's conduct is detrimental to the team, whether it be a player, a coach, or a parent, then they need to be excused from the team. And in that model, you look at teams next. And if you're running a high school program, obviously the varsity team takes precedence, and then JV, freshman, etc. And then self always comes last. And that is why there's a disconnect sometimes, and the values aren't congruent between a coach and parents. Because as a coach, you have to do what's best for all 16 members of the team. And as a parent, it's hard not to just look out for what's best for your son or daughter, which is totally understandable. And the thing is, you want players that want to play. But in saying that, there's just no way that you can keep everyone happy. And every decision that you make There's going to be people that aren't happy with it and disagree with you, and that's just part of the business. And that's okay. And I really try to express that, like, hey, 2 weeks from now, when you want to send me that email because you're unhappy with Billy's playing time, I'm going to say, hey, remember that at that player parent meeting, we've kind of already talked about this, and with all due respect, there's no conversation to be had. Because as a coach, you earn the right to make those decisions. Just as a parent, you earn the right to say what time your child goes to bed, or what they wear, or what they eat. That's your domain. But when you're out the field, the coach is in charge, and you don't have to agree. In fact, like I said, I would guarantee that you're not going to agree with everything. But the relationships with the parents and the players, it's important to keep those positive. You don't have to be best friends, but there needs to be respect from all parties. And I've used a PowerPoint before just to stay on task, and it's been real helpful. And again, I'll include that in the description. Feel free to take some ideas from that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please like it, subscribe, and share it with a friend.